بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي نويت تعلم تعليم تذكر وتذكير ونفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والحث على تمسك بكتاب الله وبسنة رسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم ودعاء الهدى ودلالة على الخير ابتغاء وجه الله مرضاته وقرب وثوابه subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, we're continuing on the tafsir of Juz Amma, and we are on Surah al-Lahab. Surah al-Lahab, also known as Surah al-Masad. These are two words which are also, they're both mentioned in the surah. And this surah specifically relates to an individual who was present in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, known as Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab. Just a point to mention, the three surahs that we've gone through so far, the Mu'awwidha that, okay? So these are the three surahs that we've spoken about already. These are protecting surahs, and I think one of the main common themes we found in this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Him in terms of His power and in terms of His ability to protect His slaves from the evils, okay? From the evils of within and from the external evils as well, okay? Now this surah and the next surah, so this surah, Surah al-Lahab, and the next surah after this, Surah al-Nas, Surah al-Nasr, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ, and the surah after that, قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ, and the surah after that, Surah al-Kawthar. So these four surahs, okay, are specifically surahs that relate to the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Surah al-Lahab deals with Abu Lahab, who was the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, and he was an enemy of the Prophet ﷺ, and speaks specifically about him and his rejection of the Prophet ﷺ's message. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ speaks about the Fath Makkah, when the Prophet ﷺ takes over Makkah. Okay?
What's that surah called?
Surah al-Nasr. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ. That is that one. Surah Kafirun speaks about when the kuffar came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, look, why don't we make an agreement? Why don't we worship our gods for 1 year and your God for 1 year? So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals this surah in a kind of stern, differentiator between the faith of the disbelievers and the faith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? And Surah al-Kawthar, Inna A'tayna al-Kawthar, speaks about those, it's like a praise of the Prophet ﷺ, and speaks about those people who used to defile the Prophet ﷺ because he had no sons. Okay. So these four surahs now, starting with Surah al-Lahab and going backwards, are specifically dealing with the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. And Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Qul A'udhu Birabbil Falaq, Qul A'udhu Birabbin Nas are not seerah based, but they are, well, as in, so the Falaq and Sunnah have a kind of a seerah background to them, but really the kind of main kind of concept is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, one of the interesting points to note about this surah is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never ever mentions an enemy, okay, of Islam by name, okay, like this. Like he never dedicates a surah specifically to an enemy of Islam in the entire Quran, except in this surah, Surah al-Lahab. Okay. Now, who was this man, Abu Lahab? Okay. His original name was Abdul Uzza. Abdul Uzza. Now, Uzza was one of the enemies. Well, it was one of the gods of the Quraysh. Okay, so one of the main kind of big time idols. His name was Uzza. Okay, and this guy's name was Abdul Uzza. Abu Lahab. That was his actual name. Abu Lahab was just a like a laqab. It was just like you could say a nickname. But his actual name was Abdul Uzza. Now, he was known for his wealth. Very, very wealthy man. In fact, he was so wealthy and he was known to be wealthy. Like he was super, super rich. Okay, it's mentioned that he used to be like the financial treasurer at the time of the Quraysh land. Yeah, the word Lahab means a flame that, like a red flame that flickers. That's what lahab means. Okay, and the reason why he was coined with this phrase is because he used to have a red, like a red tinge to his face, red complexion, and that, as far as the Arabs were concerned, was something that was of beauty. So not only was he wealthy, he was quite a beautiful man as well. Okay, now this word Abu would normally be translated as father, right? But not necessarily always the case like that. So it can sometimes mean father, but it can also mean anything that you're attached to. For example, one time the Prophet ﷺ's daughter, Fatima anha, and her husband, Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anh, they had a bit of an argument. And what happens is that Sayyidina Ali, he basically leaves the house and goes to the masjid and lies down and sleeps on the floor with his face on the floor. The Prophet ﷺ goes to the house of Fatima anha, doesn't know what's taking place, and speaks to his daughter, and she said, "Look, we've had a bit of a issue." Then the Prophet ﷺ goes to the mosque and sees Ali ibn Abi Talib lying down on the floor with his face in the mud. Yeah, because it was all mud there. So he calls him, "Oh Abu Turab, oh father of the dirt." So Turab means dirt, yeah, because his face was like he's lying down in the dirt. So the point is, he's not a father of dirt, but he just means like he had that connection at that point, yeah. Similarly, one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Huraira. Now, his name is not Abu Huraira, his name is Abdurrahman. But he used to have a cat, and the word for cat in Arabic is Huraira. So you'd call him Abu Huraira. Likewise, this man was called Abu Lahab, okay, because he had this complexion that was similar to a flame, which has a red kind of tinge to it, okay. And in particular, what's interesting is that he was the direct uncle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, direct uncle, okay, direct uncle. He did many despicable acts to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, okay. Of the things that he would do, he used to be the next door neighbor to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and being the next door neighbor of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would hear the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he reading Quran. So what he would do is he would throw filth into the house of the Prophet ﷺ every time the Prophet ﷺ would be reading Quran in his house. Of the things that he did is that he had initially, before Islam, okay, betrothed his sons, married his sons off to his daughters. So Abu Lahab married his two sons to the daughters of the Prophet ﷺ. But after the Prophet ﷺ came with Islam, okay, he forced them to divorce. So he divorced his two sons from the daughters of the Prophet ﷺ. That's obviously a big thing. It's a big thing to do. It's a big shame for the Prophet ﷺ. And one of the most despicable things that the Prophet that Abu Lahab did to the Prophet ﷺ is the Prophet ﷺ's eldest son. You know his name?
No.
Qasim. Qasim. That's why he's known as Abu Qasim. The Prophet ﷺ. That's his kunya. So he finds out, Abu Lahab finds out that Qasim has passed away as a child. So he comes out singing and laughing and joking. Yeah. So he comes out in happiness and joy. Abu Lahab does, right, out of happiness and joy that the Prophet's son has died, and he says, "Batara Muhammad, Muhammad's lineage has been cut off." That's why in Surah Al-Kawthar, what does he say? Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. So the same word, batar, abtar. Yeah. So the point is that here he was joyful in the fact that the Prophet's son had passed away. His own uncle, he's just subhanallah. What kind of hatred was that? And one of the things that he did, there's 2 points to remember here. When the Prophet tried to invite him to Islam, he said, "Tabban li hadha deen." Okay, and I'll explain what tab means, yeah? But he said, "Tabban li hadha deen," first time. The second time, when the Prophet he in Mecca, he's given this revelation, and he's told eventually by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to now rise and warn the people. Qum fa'andir. What does he do? He goes to the top of Mount Safa, and he calls people and he says, look, if I was to tell you that there's an army behind me ready to attack you, would you listen? Yes, and Amin, and the Sadiq, you are the Al-Amin, you are the trustworthy one, you are the Sadiq, you're the truthful one, of course we believe you. And then he says, well, I'm about to tell you that there's a great adhab that is about to come upon you people if you don't believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he says, Tabban lak, Abu Lahab, Tabban lak. Okay? So he says tab twice, right? And as we notice in the first ayah, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. So he mentions it twice. As if this is two answers to him. But we're going to go into this, yeah? Now, that's Abu Lahab. Now, his wife is known as Jamil. Her real name is Urwa. Urwa. She's the sister of Abu Sufyan. And Abu Sufyan eventually becomes one of the leaders of the Quraysh. Okay? So Urwa is the sister of Abu Sufyan. She is someone who was so beautiful that she was known as Jamil, the mother of beauty. And she was someone who would flaunt her husband's money and their status. They were known like a power couple. They're like, special because they had so much money, right? There's so much money, there's so much status. And people looked up to them because they had everything that everybody wanted. Money, power, status, good looks, everything. All right? And it kind of makes us reflect on kind of the societal ideals of today. What are the societal ideals of today? Fame, money, beauty. Everybody wants to fit into a certain type of image of beauty. They let beauty be defined by other than them. And then, it's all about getting the next best thing. It's all about being rich. It's all about being wealthy. And you see here that Abu Lahab, despite having those great things, ultimately Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls for his internal damnation. Okay? So the first ayah, Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Okay? So this word tab, okay? The word tab means to break apart slowly or to collapse. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here, may the hands of Abu Lahab perish and collapse and kind of fall down, break apart. Okay. Now, what's interesting here is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the past tense here, tabbat. Yeah, this is a past tense verb. Now, why is that? Because one of the things to note that's interesting is that this surah is revealed in the time of like Abu Lahab is alive when this surah comes down. So how amazing is that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically saying, listen, you're finished. And he sends an ayah down, sends the whole surah down dedicated to this guy. Now, Abu Lahab could have easily turned around and said, look, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. I believe your Quran is a lie. But he never has the tawfiq to do it. But that's amazing. That's one of the great miracles of the Quran. It's like it has the ability to foretell. Here he just foretold that this guy is basically, it's not happening, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closed his heart. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses past tense here. Why? There's two reasons why he uses past tense. Because whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the past tense for something that is taking place, number one is for certainty. If I say, for example, if you say to me, can you come to my house on Saturday and fix this? I'll say, consider it done. That's past tense, right? What does that mean? Like, definitely it's happening. Do you see that? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring the past tense sometimes for certainty, right? And also he will bring the past tense as a sense of dua. So here it's not only that, it's may the hands of Abu Lahab be perished. So it's a dua also. Because dua, there's two types of dua. Dua that you make for somebody for their goodness, and also dua that you make against somebody for their damnation. Okay? Now, an interesting thing as well that the ulama are going to, why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speak about the hands of Abu Lahab? Why can't I just say Tabba Abi Lahab, Abu Lahab? Why did they say the hands? Because you see, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to explain here is all of the things that Abu Lahab used his hands, all the sins, all the bad, despicable acts that Abu Lahab used his hands against the Prophet ﷺ, may they be perished. So one of the things that's mentioned is that he once got a stone and tried to throw it upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the stone got to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and it kind of crushed. It just right. It's like a force. That's the protection of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But you know that's the usage of his hands, and also here is you see he's all his life Abu Lahab was just using his hands to make money and everything like that. So he says, look, your hands that you think are so great, you think you're so great because you've got all this money. May you be perished with that, right? And also one of the interesting things I mentioned here is that they say that you use your right hand to attack and your left hand to defend. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to explain here that may his hands be perished, may Yawm al-Qiyamah, he'll have no way to attack and no way to defend himself. He'll be totally, defenseless. Okay, no way to attack. And that's as a result of the way he attacked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Watab" after that. Watab. Okay. And he is perished. That's what watab means, yeah? And he is perished. Now, why does he mention that again? It's the point that I mentioned before. That he himself said, first said tabban li hadha deen and tabban lak. Right? So he used actually this word himself twice. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings it twice back to him. That's the first point. The second point is that whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings a takrar, he brings something again and again, it shows the emphasis of the guarantee that he is going to ultimately be the one who is going to be perished. He's going to be destroyed. Okay? What's even more interesting is this. You see, the way that this watab is brought, you see the first part, what did I mention? It's like a dua, may he be perished. Watab, and he is perished. So what does that mean? Well, the thing brought here is this. What happens to Abu Lahab is that he eventually becomes extremely ill, to the extent where his whole body swells and he emits a really despicable smell. Everybody disperses from him. So a man who was so loved and so kind of like, oh, great person, lots of fame, lots of greatness, amazing character, because he's got so much wealth and fame and everything, and he's then reduced to basically nobody wants to know him. Everybody wants to run away from him. So he dies this despicable death, a death of dab, right, where he's broken apart slowly. So he's ill for such a period of time where he's destroyed, and then when he dies, his body is just left for days because nobody wants to kind of touch him. Eventually, after a few days, his family employs some Ethiopian slaves to just pick up his body and just throw it away somewhere. How ajib is that? That a person with so much wealth, so much fame, so much everything, right? And ultimately, it kind of came to nothing. He was debased. Why? His rejection of Allah and His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's what the concept of dab is here. That's what Allah uses such a powerful word here. Okay? And this is what happens to him. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب. His wealth did not avail him, nor did that which he gained. Okay, nor did that which he gained. Now, this word ma, it's a negation. Now, there's different types of negation in the Arabic language. Allah says here ma aghna, or he could have said lam yughni. Yeah, what does the lam do to the yughni?
Doesn't.
Good, it doesn't. But there's they both mean that his wealth doesn't avail him, his wealth didn't save him. But the ma is more emphatic. You see, if I say, for example, Yusuf did not enter the house, I could say it in two ways. Ma dakhala Yusufun. Yusuf did not enter the house, and using dakhala as a past tense verb. Or lam yadkhul Yusuf, using the present tense verb as lam as a negation. What's the difference between the two? Ma means that he never ever ever entered the house, whereas lam gives this connotation that he's entered the house before, but on this occasion he didn't. So here, by him using the word ma, the harf of ma, this negation, it means that his wealth never ever 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 helped him. He thought, yeah, this is helping me. this is exactly what I need. This is what's going to say. This is I fulfilled everything now because I've got so much money. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, no, it never ever did. You thought it did. The people of Quraysh thought it did, but it didn't. It never did. That's what's being mentioned just by that ma. Okay, that's what the meaning is packed within that. Okay, and again, Allah used the word aghna, which is again past tense verb. So the importance of a past tense verb is why? To give this kind of connotation of certainty. That definitely, 100%, this never ever helped you. Your mal, what you collected, what you bought together, it never helped. Never helped. Okay, never ever helped. And it's interesting how the two main things that Abu Lahab had, which was looks and money, turned out to be his ultimate downfall. So he was somebody of beauty, Abu Lahab, the one with the beautiful complexion, but then he died a despicable death. And he had so much money, but it didn't save him. It didn't do anything for him. He ended up being totally, mal'oon, being totally accursed. Okay. So it's interesting how I was got this storyline tomorrow, and one of the things that I've been reflecting upon in one of the ayahs of Surah Al-Kahf is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Inna laja'iluna ma alayha inna what's the word? Inna laja'iluna ma 'ala al-ardi zinatan laha linabluwahum ayyuhum ahsanu 'amala." Indeed, we made this earth zina, pleasurable, beautiful, enticing. Okay, linabluwahum ayyuhum ahsanu 'amala, to test those people who is the best in action. You see, this earth and the nature of the earth is that it's meant to be a distraction. And the whole point is that who from amongst the people who walk upon the earth are those who deal in the best of action as it relates to the earth. Do they get sucked into the earth such that they run after the earth and forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or are they of those who see the earth for what it is, the reality of it, and proceed, keep firm? You see, with Abu Lahab, he ran after the dunya. He amassed it. You can say he got it. But it didn't bring anything to him in the end. It was his ultimate downfall. Okay, his ultimate downfall. Are you? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now, so far he's been speaking in what tense? Past tense, right? Dabbat, and then dabba, and then aghna is the past tense. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings it to the future. Sayasla naran dhata lahab. So the scene here, the yasla means to burn, and the scene, because we know that the present tense in Arabic is present and future, the scene pushes it to future. So he will burn in a fire. So this is now future tense. Okay. So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here is that, look, all your life gone before, okay, has been pretty hopeless. You rejected the Prophet. You rejected Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You defiled the Prophet. You treated him in a bad way. Your wealth, everything you earn, everything you try to amass, it has brought you no benefit. And so now what's going to happen? So now you're going to burn in a fire. And what's interesting here, Allah brings his name. That al-Lahab. Now this word Lahab was initially bought as his name, like a praiseworthy thing. That he has a similar tinge. His complexion is almost red, similar to that of Lahab, of a red flame. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing a whole different meaning to his name now. That it's not just Lahab, oh yeah, the beautiful complexion Lahab, but rather the fire, the flame, which he will burn in himself. You kept this name, yeah, you kept the name, that's it. You're gonna have to deal with it now. It's like a personal attack now. Oh, Mr. Lahab, you're gonna die in Lahab. Right? Powerful. What's another interesting point here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never directly deals with Abu Lahab. He doesn't say you. You see, he's always dealing in the third person. Why is that? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want to even give this person, and doesn't even want to dignify this person with any type of address or response. So Allah just speaks to him as just, third person. Yeah. You're destroyed. You got everything over. Everything you done. Khalas. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't even dignify him by addressing him, putting him in the second person. He puts him into the third person, which is al-Ghaib. It's almost like he's not even there. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, وَامْرَأَتُهُ حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ. Now, what the ulama say here, this translates as وَامْرَأَتُهُ, and his wife, حَمَّالَةَ الْحَطَبِ, the carrier of firewood. Okay? Hatab is firewood. Now, the ulama say here is actually وَامْرَأَتُهُ is actually a continuation of the previous ayah. So يَصْلَى نَارًا ذَاتَ لَهَبٍ وَامْرَأَتُهُ. So he will burn in a blazing fire and his wife. So it's actually a continuation. That's why if you see in Arabic, there's a little break after وَامْرَأَتُهُ, isn't there? So that break is almost meant to be like a bit of a full stop, or like a semicolon. So it's continuing from the previous ayah.
Why didn't they just join it?
Well, because there's wisdom in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just because there's two ways of doing this. Or either you could say as he will burn in a fire blazing in a fire of blazing flames and his wife, full stop. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can say, okay, the first two ayahs deal specifically with Abu Lahab. So what's going to happen to Abu Lahab? He will die in a blazing fire. And his wife. Okay, then let's speak about his wife. So you see how both it depends on the mode of expression here. Okay. So as for his wife, okay, حمالة الحطب. Now the word for wife, there's two words for wife in Arabic, imra'a and zawj. Now the word zawj is brought always in a praiseworthy state. So for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ, and from his signs, and خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُم, that he created for you from your own self, أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, spouses, azwaj, the plural of zawj, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so that you gain tranquility with them, وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً, and he created between you love and mercy. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings here the word zawj, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is attributing blessed and praiseworthy characteristics as it relates to the zawj. However, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about imra'a, okay, imra'a here is almost blameworthy. Okay, you see, one of the things we have to understand about one of the purposes of marriage is, the purpose of marriage is mainly twofold. Number one, to increase good and to decrease bad, and number two, to produce offspring. Those are kind of fundamentals of marriage. And you see, in this circumstance, the marriage between Abu Lahab and Jamil, they decreased good and increased in evil. That's what they did. And so whenever a marriage is like that, okay, whenever a marriage is like that, such that they kind of break that imbalance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will use the word imra'a. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes her as an imra'a, as opposed to a zawj. You remember when we did the hadith of Zara? Remember the 11 women sat down, yeah? You see, Zara herself, what did she say? All the other people say, my husband, this. She says, zawji, my husband, my zawj, right? That's what she says. All the rest say, oh, he's like this and he's like this and he's like this. But she goes, my husband, Abu Zara, well, he's like this. So she's the word zawj. Okay, you see that? All right. Right. Now this word hammalat. Now the translation is the carrier of firewood. What is this carrier of firewood? Well, there's a few things here. Number one, that in the time of the Quraysh, or in the time of Makkah, what did they used to do? They used to, the slave women, whenever there'd be a fire, they'd be carrying firewood. So they would be known as as in the word to carry is hamala. So what would be like normally you'd call a person who's carrying firewood as a hamila, the fa'il, hamila, right? But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't say hamila. He uses the word hammala. And hammala here is what? It's like emphasis. It means that this is definitely, you are going to be carrying firewood. Why is she carrying firewood?
To burn.
Firewood is to burn. What needs to be burnt?
Al-Lahab.
Exactly. The Mufassirin say that what is being mentioned here? What is being mentioned here is that what's the ayah before? Sayasla, he's going to burn in a fire. What is going to be the fuel of the fire? Firewood. Who's going to be carrying that? His wife. And that's scary. Okay? So themselves, they were tag team in terms of their disrespect of the Prophet ﷺ. So in the hellfire, they'll be tag team in terms of their punishment. And it's not even tag team. You know what I mean? They're against each other. She will have no choice but to bring the fuel. And actually, hammala, it also means, like, if I say
But is that a verb, fa'il?
no, it's a noun. It's a noun. It's a doer of a verb. So hamala is the verb. Okay, hamila is the one who carries. Hammala is the person who carries by profession, like a professional carrier. Yeah, that's the point here. So she will have she'll have no kind of a way out of this. That will be her job, Yom Al-Qiyamah, to bring firewood to burn her husband. Astaghfirullah. We ask Allah for protection. Yeah. Husband and wife should help each other in obedience of Allah and His Messenger. They helped each other in disobedience of the Messenger of Allah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Finally, في جيدها حبل من مسد. Around her neck is a rope of twisted fiber. One of the things that she had that was quite notable about her, she'd have a necklace. And every time she'd see the Prophet ﷺ, she'd just grab her necklace and just like swear oaths with her idols and say, I'm going to ruin this guy. She has so much hatred. Is that amazing? SubhanAllah, we even see it nowadays, Our own family members that have that type of hatred. It's quite sad, yeah. She had extreme hatred. She used to call the Prophet ﷺ. You see, one of the things about the Prophet ﷺ, he has such a blessed name, Muhammad. Muhammad means the one who is often praised. She used to call him Mudamdam, the one who is often cursed. Astaghfirullah. Yeah. She used to change the entire name of the Prophet ﷺ. Okay. She used to make poetry like Mudamdam qalayna wa dinuha abayna wa hukmuha asayna. Okay. Like, Mudamdam, the cursed one, we're tired of him now. Yeah, qalayna, we're tired of him. And his religion, we've rejected. Abayna. Okay? Wa hukmuha asayna, and his rule, we've obeyed it. We've disobeyed it. To make poetry, against the Prophet ﷺ. One of the great wisdoms that we take from the life of the Prophet ﷺ, he never ever reacted. Never reacted. And that is something that, you got to be strong to do that. Very easy to react to a dog that's barking. It's it's more stronger to just keep quiet and keep listening to it, yeah? And that happens sometimes, one of the great things of the Prophet and the ability, he just repealed bad with good. He never kind of, went bad back. And whenever, if someone just splurts out bad, and you kind of start that kind of, then you get back, it becomes a bit of a match, doesn't it? And that's the worst thing, because you then abase yourself so low, and that's something that's, that's ridiculous. You never do that. And so that's the surah, and the one of the analogy has been brought here that she'll have a twisted fiber around her neck, just like she had that necklace as well, around her neck. And fiber as well. He used to throw kind of fiber and these kind of like, thorns and plants in the path of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Really bad, real extreme hated. One of the things that really irked me is like, when Abu Lahab rejoiced at the death of the Prophet's son. Even enemies in battle don't do that. You know what I mean? And he did that for his own nephew. It just goes to show that what when you disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what trajectory it takes you down. Just gets you worse and worse. There are different types of kind of disbelievers and different types of women that we have found in history. You see, in history, there's like, for example, as it relates to Abu Lahab, you see there's different types of disbelievers. You have those who are friendly disbelievers, supporting disbelievers. Like, for example, Abu Talib. Abu Talib, the uncle of the Prophet ﷺ, the majority of the ulama say that he did not accept Islam. Okay? But look at the support that he gave to the Prophet ﷺ. Without him, the Prophet ﷺ wouldn't have been able to pray at the Kaaba, wouldn't be able to give his message. He had the support of his uncle. So he was a disbeliever, but he's a friendly disbeliever, supporting disbeliever.
Who, Abu Lahab?
Abu Talib.
Oh.
Abu Talib, who's the uncle of the Prophet.
Oh, okay, where's this guy?
Yeah. Then you have those people who are enemies. If they became Muslim, they would have been great. For example, Abu Jahl. So Abu Jahl was an extremely kind of talented man. There's no doubt about that. He had strength, he had stature, he had ability. But he rejected. So he was an enemy, outright enemy. But if he had accepted Islam, it would have been great. And there's a dua that the Prophet made that Allahumma aiz al-Islam bil-umrayn. To Allah give might to Islam through any of the two Umars. Abu Jahl, his name was Umar, and also Umar ibn al-Khattab. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose Umar ibn al-Khattab, and he became a Muslim, and Allah gave izzah and might to Islam. So he was somebody who would have been great. There are those people, however, who hate Islam and hate the Prophet. And even if, they didn't have the even ability to be in Islam. That's Abu Lahab. So you see there's different types of disbelievers. But he was just out and out.
So why did these other, like the supportive ones, why didn't they just turn to Islam? Because they were still stuck in their ways.
Well, I mean, I would say that each one is subjective. So each situation is subjective.
Okay.
Abu Talib wanted to remain upon the religion of Abdul Muttalib. Yeah, he wanted on that religion. That was his choice. That's what faith is, isn't it? It's about choice. As it relates to women, there's different types of women in history. There are those who are great women and they have great kind of guardians. Like, for example, our mother Mary, Maryam, alayhi salam, a great woman. Totally pure. Then you have those women who are great women themselves, but they have despicable spouses. Like, for example, our mother Asiya, the wife of Fir'aun. Fir'aun was a total rejecter of God. Asiya alayhi salam she's a mother of the believers. You have those people who are terrible women, but their spouses are amazing in status. Like, for example, the wife of Sayyidina Nuh, the wife of Sayyidina Lut. These wives of the Prophet Lut and Prophet Nuh, they rejected. They were married to the Prophet and they rejected their own husbands. And then you have those people who are terrible women themselves and their husbands are terrible. Like the case of Jamil. So this surah brings basically the worst type of men and the worst type of women. Okay, this is how bad these people were. Allah brings them both into this surah. The final thing to note about this is the placement of the surah and some of the kind of wisdom behind that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places this after Surah Al-Nasr, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ, and before Surah Al-Ikhlas. So Surah Al-Nasr, if you look at Surah Al-Nasr, we'll go into the next time, but if you look at Surah Al-Nasr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ. Okay, إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about those two qualities which are extremely beneficial for the believer. فَسَبِّحْ, tasbih, وَاسْتَغْفِرْ, and istighfar. Those are the two great things that will be a benefit to the believer. and they will have a long-lasting impact on the salvation of the believer. Whereas Surah al-Lahab speaks about those two characteristics which are blameworthy for the person. His mal, his wealth, and everything that he earns. So those things.
The mal, what two things?
So his mal, his wealth, and that's what he earns. Now, what you think of earns would be wealth, but also anything else. So the acts that he does and things like that. You see, in reality, your acts, you should never ever hold them in high regard. We know that, right? You never ever hold your acts in high regard. You do the act and forget about it. So the Nasr speaks about those two great things of benefit, and Surah al-Lahab speaks about those things that are of no benefit. And the other thing is that Surah al-Nasr speaks about the truth that came, the victory. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ, when the great help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came at the opening. Okay? And that is a manifestation of the truth and the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Surah al-Lahab speaks about the destruction of falsehood, rejection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. Another interesting point to note is that Abu Lahab, what does he do? He rejects Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what does Surah Al-Ikhlas do? Explains who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. So the connection ultimately is there that Abu Lahab rejects God in totality and doesn't recognize who he is. So Surah Al-Ikhlas explains who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. Okay? And so this is the munasabat that we see here. You see, ultimately, the thing here is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala closed the heart of this man and sent him into internal damnation. One of the names of the heart in Arabic is qalb. And qalb, qallaba yuqallibu, means that it's a thing which changes, which transforms. The nature of the heart is that the heart changes state. Sometimes it's in a state of good and sometimes in a state of bad. And our kind of mission in life, our aim in life, is to keep it firm. One of the du'as of the Prophet taught us, Ya muqallibul qulub, oh, the one who transforms hearts, who has this ability to move hearts. Thabbit qalbi ala dini, keep my heart firm upon your faith. That's Surah al-Lahab. Okay. Tayyib, inshallah. Any questions?
You know the hadith of the Zara? Can you just go through that again for a reminder us and for the listeners?
Okay, very, very lengthy hadith. But in short, okay, well, it's so lengthy, I don't remember it.
Tell what it's about.
What happens is, this hadith is mentioned in the books of Shama'il, and under the chapters of the discussion that the Prophet ﷺ used to have at night. And this hadith is the one time the Prophet ﷺ is with Sayyidah Aisha and he speaks to Sayyidah Aisha about these 11 women. They get together and they swear oaths that they're not. Basically, they speak about their husbands, right? Women get together and speak about their husbands, yeah. So as women do. So what happens is, but what they do is they swear an oath not to reveal the identity of their husbands, right? So what they do is they mention their husbands in like, for example, my husband is a lion at home but a rabbit outside. I'll give you an example, right? So the ulama, so they speak in these kind of terms, like in hidden language, and the language is really deep. The point is that people then commentate on that. Okay, so he's lying, so he's very kind of like egotistic and strong outside, but when he goes up inside, and he's kind of like quite tyrannical inside, like a lion in the den. Yeah, but when he goes outside, he's scared of the people. See that? So this is what these women do, and the point is that it culminates ultimately in Zara. And Zara speaks about her husband, and she praises him, saying like, he fattened my arms, fed me up so well, did everything for me, adorned me with jewelry, did all these kind of things. And what's interesting, Abu Zara actually leaves her and gets married to somebody else. But the point is, she still has so much praise for him. Okay, and the point is, like, she mentions all this. And then, so the Prophet is narrating this to Sayyidah Aisha, and the Prophet says that I am to you what Abu Zara was to Zara. Okay, and Abu Zara was so great that she was mentioning all of his good qualities, and how he loved her so much that he did so much for her. The Prophet said, look, I am to you, I am to you, I show the same love as Abu Zara did to Abu Zara. That's the point. But the point I'm trying to make is that she says Zawji, my husband. So Zawj here has a connotation of positivity and praiseworthiness. Okay. طيب. Anything else? Okay. جزاكم الله خير. صلى الله عليه وسلم.